just want them to know you don't have to choose a job at 18, 19 to go to uni and do it and then sit in that job until you're 68, 69. You don't, and you shouldn't have to, because people change, people get interested in certain things. It's important that you know you don't have to stick to something. You could change. You know, I changed from civil service to property developer. Will I be a property developer forever? No, there's loads of other things I'd like to do, but there will be a thread of property running through.
Meet Carly Anderson, better known as Flipping Belfast. Carly has made a name for herself as a hugely successful entrepreneur, flipping property right here in Northern Ireland, breathing new life into forgotten properties and transforming them into stunning spaces. With bags of energy, passion and drive, Carly delves deep into how she's harnessed her skills in entrepreneurship, whilst teaching others her exact method on finding success. We're kicking off 2025 with a bang, with our second episode of the year. So grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, or whatever you fancy, and take note, because you're watching the official Young Hunger podcast. My name is Michael Burgess, and we present to you Miss Carly Anderson.
Hi, I'm Carly Anderson, also known as Flipping Belfast, and I am delighted to be speaking to Michael on the Younger Hunger podcast. I'm going to be telling you about how I got started in property and the profits I'm making and how you can too.
Carly, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for the coffee as well.
You're welcome.
We are in one of your recently completed projects.
Flips, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about it.
This one has probably been my most expensive one to date, so it's 212. I bought it for it. Priciest one to date, 55,000 for the renovation, and I just had it valued on Tuesday, and I'm pretty sure, 100% sure, that I'm going to make £100,000 net profit from this flip, which is brilliant. It's going to be my biggest profit to date because the previous one was 75,000.
Yeah, after hearing your journey, especially through like Think Network and stuff, and Gary Dougherty, I became really like fascinated with your journey and stuff, because before that I honestly didn't really know that much about property, and then after seeing your stuff sort of inspired me. So I'm really glad we got touching down. But where did all this actually like begin for you? Like, where's the start of the journey for property, I guess?
The start of the journey was when I wanted to buy my dream home with my then husband, and I'm looking on Property Pal, scrolling through all these houses, and they're like way more than I could afford, like £2 million houses, and I'm still looking at them going, I'd change the kitchen. I'd do this. There was always something I would change about it. It was never my perfect house, no matter the price. And I thought, do you know what, the only way I'm going to get my perfect house is if I built it. So looked at how I would do that. But also I'm a city girl. I'm Belfast, like I live, born and bred here, and I want to live in the city. I want to be able to walk to a coffee shop. I want to be able to, walk somewhere and get milk, not get in a car, but have that brand new house. Yeah. So how do you do that? You kind of have to buy a house that's not great and knock it down and build your own. So I set about doing that. And with my ex-husband, and we bought a house, and planning permission was refused, and it's very expensive, and then we split up in the middle of it. And I really wanted to keep that, because that was still my dream. It was always my dream, and to build the house. And my mortgage advisor said, you need to find 25k quickly to even get started. I thought, how do I find 25k quickly? And I thought, well, homes under the hammer, people are making all this money, and they seem to just be doing it quickly and easy enough. And I think it's probably still the only thing that I can think you can make that kind of money quickly at. So with no trades, no experience, nothing, anything. My dad's a painter and decorator, and we knew an electrician. That's as far as it goes. I put my house up for sale. Again, then I didn't know another way to finance it. I thought you had to finance it yourself with your own money. So I sold my home that I was living in to get some money released so that I could buy a dump, really, of a property. So I ended up buying one apartment quickly, followed by two. Do not recommend at home that you buy two at once. Really steep learning curve. And I did both of them up while I was working full time, and then sold them at 6 months and made £102,000 net profit, like back in my account in 6 months.
That was actually unbelievable, wasn't it?
So it was I couldn't believe it. I thought, I'm Beyonce. Like, what? And I was working full time as well, so it was pretty stressful. And, going through it, there was times when I was like, I'm never doing this again. And also paying the trades and paying for supplies and kitchens and bathrooms. Honestly, I had a sweat on. Like, it felt like I was just handing money. Oh, you want 4,000? There you go. Oh, you want 1,000? There you go. That's what it felt like. And at one point I thought, if I break even here, we'll be doing okay. And then when I came out with that, I was like, let's go again. So the money was paid like back to my ex-husband because he, I wanted to keep the property and pay him what he had in it.
What was the time frame from like buying to like, I guess, selling and making that profit?
So it usually takes me 4 months for renovation. And then the last like kind of month of the 5th month is like staging it, making it perfect. Like I stage all the houses myself. So getting all the furniture in situ and stuff, getting the photographs taken, getting the estate agents out to value it, and then getting the viewers in. So you usually still agreed at the 6-month mark. And then the conveyancing can be really quick. It depends if they're cash buyers or it depends, what their situation is. Sometimes they want them really quickly. Sometimes there might be something that throws it off. But because I've recently bought the houses, it's a lot quicker because all my side of the house is in order because we'd had to have the paperwork right to buy it. So it's still sitting there ready to go.
I get you. See, whenever you were like doing everything, was there ever times you're like, I really wish someone was there to show me? Like, because I know you do maybe mentoring now and things.
Yes.
And this is one thing.
I would have saved so much money if I had somebody to show me. So much time, so many tears, so many arguments if I just had somebody to show me.
Because they don't teach you in school or nothing.
There's nothing taught about how you find a house, what house you should be buying, how you get a mortgage, how you finance it in a different way.
Yeah.
There's none of that. And there's no information on how you buy a house and the steps that you go through and the people you should go through. Guys saying to go to the bank, and then sometimes it's the blind leading the blind. Like they've just gone to their friends who bought last year and maybe the friends weren't right. And sometimes they're asking like parents who maybe bought a house 30 years ago and it's very different. Yeah. So there's no education on it, which I'm trying to change, like going into schools and texts and talking to people. Yeah. And it is eye-opening because you say to them, right, get the phone out. That's the first thing I said, get the phone out. Okay, show me what house you'll be living in at 30. And they bring up these like
massive
cribs. And they're like, right, okay, and what do you want to do? And they're like, oh, I want to be an accountant and I'll earn 45k a year. And you're like, okay, well, do you know how much you need to earn to buy that house? And they are shocked. Yeah, and then we go work backwards and say, so if this is the job you want and this is 45-50k a year you're making, can we now go back and figure out what house you can afford? And they're like, I don't want to live in that house. So there's just no awareness really here, I find, in Northern Ireland.
You mentioned a couple of things earlier there about like your dream house and things. See, when you were growing up, what was your dream?
My dream was to be a TV presenter, actually read the news. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, and I did do a bit of TV presenting. So when I was 23, I presented a show for BBC Northern Ireland called Bass on the Box, and I loved it. And then I never did it ever again because I was told it's not really a safe job and you'd have to go to London to do that. And, you don't get an income every month. So I just parked my actual dream to just do something that brought money in every month, which was civil service.
And then that's sort of, people say, I hear it all the time, like, do the safe option, because you'll get that wee bit of money at the end of the month and it's guaranteed, essentially. Yeah. Like, that's just what you get told, I feel like, from generation to generation, really. That
was the case maybe years ago, but it's certainly not the case today, But when you're being told it by, your parents or teachers, you have to remember that that's all they know. Yeah. So they didn't know anything else. Yeah. And then you listen to it because you think that they know better. That's
the thing. One thing I actually realised is you talk about like just going for it, like at the start and stuff. Bit of a risk taker, I take it. Was there anyone like that in your family?
No, anything? Definitely not. 2 safe birds up mum and dad on the house, and I'm an only child. Like, no risk takers. But I don't think anything I do is a risk. That's the thing. Like, I'm not buying a house, doing it up and hoping for the best. I am actually adding value, and there's a proper way to stack a deal and do your research and know what the houses in that area are selling for when they are a particularly good standard. Yeah. Speaking to estate agents, doing your research on like previous like selling prices and things like. There's a lot of things you can do to stack that deal. So to me, none of it. We're not doing a punt or a gamble here. We're adding value to make the house value go up, and we're doing it in a dedicated space of time. So there's a formula to it.
And whenever everyone was saying like you're mad for buying the first house, how did you push past all the voices and all the, I guess, negativity and stuff?
Do you know what? It was the reason why. So I wanted that house. I wanted that location so that I could demolish it and build my dream home. And I just was blinkered into that. That was just my sole driving force. Get another, make another 50k on a house, and there's another 50k towards it. Make another 60, and there's another 60. And that just kept me absolutely going towards what I wanted to do. And then it kind of changed around. You know, a couple of years in, I thought, because I was doing this while working full time, so I thought, you know, I could be making this. I don't need to go to work for, you know, £2,400 a month, which at one time seemed brilliant to me. But then when I'm out making 65k on a house in 6 months, I was like, is it really that brilliant? So it just changed my opinion. I thought, well, if I flip 2 houses a year, or even 1, that's more money than the day job. Then I'm stuck there 170 hours a month.
It's even you just saying them numbers is absolutely mad.
Yeah, but I didn't know that was there. And that's what I want to show other people. It's available, it's happening. Some people say to me as well, is the market not saturated here in Northern Ireland? I'm like, no. I go and give talks on property in London, Manchester, Birmingham,
everywhere,
and there's 1,000 people in the room, right? And you know, loads of them are flipping, the competition's mad, the prices of houses and properties in those cities is way more than us here.
Do you think we're in a wee bit of a hidden gem nearly?
Yeah. And I think people who, there's some smart people from the mainland who want to invest here and can see that. Most of them are afraid, like you mentioned Belfast or Northern Ireland, they're like,
Danger zone. War zone stuff.
Don't invest in war zones. So, you know, that comes up. And then the people here, so some, like Property Investors Network I go to here, has such a small group of people in it. And, you know, a couple of them may be tradesmen looking work, and somebody else is doing like, building up a portfolio for letting. Somebody's doing HMOs, like, you know, the houses of multiple occupation where like 5 people share a home. And then there might be a couple of people flipping a house, and one's in Portrush and one's in Bangor. So I just think, there's such opportunities here and for house-wise, and we love our houses here in Northern Ireland.
There's one thing, just to go off topic for 2 seconds. You said you were going to like Birmingham or something, you do all the talks. I actually seen in your story one day, it was like 6 months ago maybe, and like your luggage or something.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
But you went on and did the talk anyway.
I did the talk in my gym gear in London in front of 1,000 people. Like, when I tell you, I felt like crap.
But I actually felt, in a weird way, I actually felt inspired seeing that, because like, she went ahead and did it.
Well, I'll tell you something. I thought I was going to put this cream like blouse on to go, and I thought, you know what, I'll spill coffee down that in the city airport. So what I'll do is I'll just take a case, let them drop that on. It's only one of those wee tiny cases, and see the feeling of dread when I could see that the little thing was coming down the carousel in my bag hadn't come out, and I was in proper trainers, scrunchy socks, the whole like stretchy lycra, and I thought, oh, no.
I mean, your notes and all on that as well.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Notes were in it, like everything was in it. My makeup was in it because I hadn't done my makeup for everything. I think I had a lip gloss in my handbag, right? And I thought, oh my goodness. And I literally went and give off in the airport like, oh, what do I do? You know, and they said, oh, it's been left in Belfast. And I thought, right, and I had a bit of a cry at the airport, won't lie to you, like, I was like, whoa! And I thought, like, all the thoughts go through your head, well, I cancel it. And I thought, there's 1,000 people waiting on seeing it.
Was that night as well?
Yeah, it was like 2 hours.
Jesus.
I had to get across London. My plan was get across London. There's a hotel it was happening in, so I could just change in the toilets, get my makeup on, good to go. Had my hair all blow-dried. I was like, and no, that wasn't happening. So I had a little bit of a like, what do I do? And then went through all these thoughts, and I thought, there's 1,000 people waiting on you, you just have to go.
And how did everything go anyway? Good?
Okay. I remember doing that video and thinking, and the guy, the host got up and said, you know, Carlys came here straight from the gym, joking, because I was like, but then explained to them. But it was so weird, because after people were like, did you just come from the gym? And I was like, no, did you not listen to the whole story? I was like, but anyway, you just do what you have to do and move on from it.
That's proper
lesson learned.
Getting tested, like you were literally just thrown like under the bus and you just had to go and do it. Like,
learned.
You don't feel better after doing it, being like, I actually can.
Yeah, I did actually. I just had a laugh with it and thought, but it's a lesson, isn't it? You just have to get on with things. It doesn't matter what goes wrong. You just have to. You can have a wee cry for 5 minutes, but then you have to like
gather yourself again, you have to and then just put on that front and go. Just going back to the property, I have a really interesting one here. Like, see, what are the key factors you consider whenever you're thinking of buying a property? What's that thing you sort of look for?
Location, like Phil and Kirsty, location first and foremost. I want a house that everybody can live in, and it's a shame that we have to say that here in Northern Ireland in 2025. But I want, both sides of the community. I want a really nice area that people will literally fight to get into. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the immediate vicinity as well around. It's not too close to roads, noisy roads. It's not too close to, you know, there's a factory somewhere in Belfast that gives off this noise. It annoys people. Is a bit of outdoor space as well. So I buy apartments, 2-bed apartments and 3-bed semis are mostly what I buy to flip.
Yeah.
And well, all that I've bought to flip, and I want a bit of outdoor space. Even if it's an apartment, it has its own garden, so usually it's ground floor or a balcony or a shared garden space like that. I think it's really important.
That's one thing I actually realised was that, like, in my own head, not knowing and not being taught, like, it's so much more like complicated, but whenever you talk, you make it seem so like easy and effortless nearly. I know it's not, but like,
yeah,
it's so much easier just talking to someone who actually
knows
what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
And the thing is, when we don't have that information, and there was nobody when I started out there to go to. If there was, I would have 100% went. And then once I started getting into property and knowing about like the financials of it and how you build a portfolio and things like that, I thought I need actual proper education. It's okay me doing this flips, but again, even though I enjoyed it, was making so much money, is it something I want to be doing until I'm 60? I don't think people should have to make a choice when they're 18, 19 what they want to do, and then that's it forever, because we change and we grow and we learn new things and we find new interests and stuff. So I went and invested heavily in myself, which was probably
the biggest thing.
Yeah, really scary. 25k in a property course in Birmingham with Simon Zucci, one of the main educators on property. And I learned all of like the property strategies. I learned how to finance a deal, use investors, because it doesn't matter how much money you have, you will run out of it. You know, you will, because you're buying, and you will, you know, people go, oh, you've $1 million there. That eventually that would go. That could go on a couple of houses or whatever, an apartment block. So he literally for a year was very intensive, back and forward to Birmingham on Fridays, and he taught me everything I needed to know, which was a really great base for all my information, which I can then give on to everybody else.
Do you have a couple of mentors, or was that your first name?
Well, for property, it was him, and then I got a coach with alongside that, and the coach was like for 1.5 years, but then I actually won that year's mastermind with him. So there was like 30 people on the course, and I won it, and then I got a coach for another 1.5 years.
That's one thing we hear all the time, like, you need to sort of invest in yourself.
You do.
Mentors, people who've been there and done what you want to do.
You so do. You need to invest in yourself at every step of the way. And I had never seen anybody invest in themselves. Never.
In your friends, family,
ever, everything. Right? Like never. I'd never seen like them invest in themselves in a health-wise or finance-wise, or even just something they want to do. Like I'm heavily for it now. Like, and people can be scared, especially when you haven't seen, and I was at the start, because the first course I did with Simon was £500, and I remember thinking, £500? And then the next course was 1,500, and that was still scary, and I still wasn't going to go for that big one. So all the people that were going on that, there was on my £1,500 course, said, yeah, I'm signing up and going for the big one. I thought, good luck to you, that's a house deposit for me, no way. And within a year, I saw what they had achieved, like millions, and I thought,
and you done that?
So then that's what made me go for it, and now I invest myself heavily. It could be health, it could be my looks or things I want done on me, it could be just me learning something new. So I started a new, nobody knows this actually, but yesterday I started a new hobby, figure skating.
Oh,
really? So I had to pay for like a coach to teach me. The goal is to skate backwards. That's the goal. So and she was like, yeah, no problem, I'll teach you how to do it. And we had a half hour in the ice of the ice bowl yesterday, and I was like, came away buzzing. Paid, invested in that girl to teach me, and by the time I left yesterday, I was skating backwards, which I thought was going to take me months. But she already, and I thought, God, that was just so easy. And it's just every little thing like that.
You can nearly take that into like every sort of aspect.
Everything.
You know what I mean? Like you could have went and thought, you know what, I'll try it myself here and still be there like a week later being like, I probably should have got someone.
YouTubing it.
That's YouTube has everything.
It does, yeah. I did actually have a look on YouTube before I went. I was like, oh, what am I going to do? But all those wee things, you know, that brought me like joy. Like that's going to help my core. That's going to, you know, loads of wee things. I feel a sense of achievement. Like now
all
I've done
the knock-on effects.
Yeah, but it's once you start investing in yourself, you realise all those different bits is where you are. And I had never seen like anybody in my family invest in themselves in any of those ways.
How long have you, did you say, I think you maybe said it before, but how long have you been in property and flipping?
Nearly 5 years now.
Nearly 5 years.
So I'm still fresh, I'm still new. Still fresh.
You've done a lot, I feel, in 5 years.
I feel like I have, yeah.
What's been like your own personal biggest challenge when it comes to property and flipping?
Challenge is...
Every day is a challenge, probably.
Yeah, challenge is usually financial, you know, making sure you have the money in place and then using investors. And then I'm like super cautious with my own money, but then I'm 10 times more cautious with somebody else's money. You know, they're lending me money to do a project, and at the end of the project, they get their money back plus 10% say, or whatever, you know, interest from me. So I'm super cautious with that, making sure like everything's running on time, and I'm doing a lot of other things. So really the flipping, I could probably spend like an hour a day on with my eyes closed. It would be easy if I had shut my mouth and just continued on with that. But of course I did, and I started posting like stuff on Instagram, and people love the sexy before and after pictures.
Yes,
but it takes a while to get to that. So they're like, oh my God, that was amazing, show me another one. And you're like, well, I'll show you
6 months.
Yeah, I'll show you in 6 months when it's done.
Yeah.
So I started posting on that, and then had people asking me how I did it and could they meet me for a coffee. And I'm chatty, so I was like, yeah, meet you for coffee. And then it was 2 Octobers ago, I had 40 requests in 1 week to meet for a coffee. And like, that's 40 hours a week, it's a job, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought, and also it's not, because I talk for too long, so it's 80 hours. And then you have to drive there and drive back. And I thought, I can't do this anymore. And then Henry McCrory, do you know Henry? He said to me, you have to do a course. And I was like, oh God, no, what if nobody came at all? And he says, you have to do a course, Carly, and that will weed out who are serious about this, and you've invested in yourself, all this money in yourself, you know, and you're just giving it away. And I said, right, okay. So I put it up, and I am a mad procrastinator, right? Mad for it, right? And I sat in like the kitchen, and I thought, I need to post this video. And you're worried about what other people think, which, you know, for a second, like I know I just go, oh well, it doesn't matter. Like people aren't really thinking about you, but post it up. And within 4 hours it sold out. And I was like, oh my God, why haven't I been doing this? And then I started teaching people how to do it themselves on the course. I was inundated. I actually had a wait list day 2. I had a wait list for the next course. I wasn't even planning on doing a next course. So I had a wait list for the next course. And then once the next course came and went, I posted a picture of like all my students. And then people were messaging me saying, oh, we didn't know there was another course. And so can I get on the next one? So there's constant wait list to get on the course, which is great. And I just love showing people, like in the last, from September until now, the last 4 months, so many of my clients have got to the end of their flips and have them up for sale. So this is just recent stats. They've gone from 38K. Now all these guys all work full time. 2 of them are teachers. Others that just have normal like full-time jobs. And they've made 38, 41, 48, 50 and 56. And that's the last 5 students of mine that have flipped this year. All with full-time jobs, all their first flips.
From your teaching?
And like the youngest one was 25, you know? And like he said to me, so it's been 2 guys and 3 girls there in the last like kind of cohort coming out of it this last quarter. And there's been more, you know, that have made, but these last 5, and he was like, Carly, it's tough. Like, he was showing me around it because I really am keen to see, you know, what it looks like, because I teach people how to flip properly. That's what I always say, not like a flip that you would have in your head, like paint the walls white and paint the cabinets. You know, this is a proper show.
With their interest in at heart as well, you know, it's not like you're just taking the money and running.
No, I am desperate for them to make like profit and do it right and create a quality home that they are proud of, because it's a satisfaction at the end when you've got something beautiful. Plus the integrity of something really good, and this is somebody's home that they're going to spend the biggest amount of money they've ever had, so it has to be perfect, like it has to be right. And he was like, Carly, I don't even know if I could do this again. Like, it was hard work. And I was like, you'll be all right, you'll be all right. So that was the day before it went up for sale. And I think I'll just sit with the teaching for a wee bit longer. And funny enough, he's a business studies teacher, and he said, I can't legitimately teach business studies when I don't have my own business. So I'm going to do this, and this is going to be my wee side business and see how it goes. So he said all the kids were like, sir, what's happening with the house? And he was thinking, oh, don't talk to me about the house, right? So he got it done, and he made just over 35,000 there. And then when he was sending me messages saying, this is the offer today, this is the offer, this is what the sale agreed at. And I was like, oh, are you still not doing it again? He says, oh, I'm viewing another one tonight. And I was like, see, 100%. And he says, no, I'm definitely doing it again. Because once you get over that hard work and the money, it's same with me, and the money hits your account, you think, what was I moaning about? Sure, this is great. You know, let's do it again.
We actually had a young guy on there, Dara.
Yes.
Yeah, who's at one of your events and stuff.
Yes.
He was speaking highly of you because obviously with his thing, it's blown up, but he was mentioning yourself as well, and he was just saying how much you helped him and stuff. So
I love Dara. My thing is to like show so many people, as many people as I can, what is possible, what is out there for them. And it doesn't need to be property, right? First and foremost, doesn't need to be property, but happy to teach anybody or help them get their first house and get on the ladder and stuff. But Dara came to me because he was eager to make money, and he's like, how do I do this? And I want to buy a house and flip it. And I was like, great, what are you going to do finance wise? He says, just going to save money up. And he came back to me and said, I think I've saved enough money up. Now, Dara was at uni. I think I've saved enough money up for a flip. And I was like, great, what have you made? He said 60k. And I was like, what? What have you been doing? I said, oh, I set this luxury concierge up, and it's just flying. And I was so impressed with him. And then it's just blossomed like into this great business, and he's showing other people how to do it too. So I had to have him out to one of my events to talk and tell everybody.
He smashed it from what I saw.
He is unbelievable.
Shout out Dara, by the way.
Shout out Dara, the nicest guy ever. But he inspires me. You know, he's telling me what's happening. I'm watching his pictures, and he's out in like France buying a bag or whatever, and I'm like, oh, dream life. Yeah. Everybody says, oh, you have a dream life, and I would love to be doing this. And then I watched Dara's, and I was like, no.
Yeah, that is the life. You're a property developer.
Yeah.
And you're a female in the industry. Do you see when you're working with people and like men all the time stuff, do they ever like maybe down on you or anything in any sort of like?
You know what? Not really. Like,
No?
no, not really. I think if you're just a nice person and get on with everybody. Now, saying that, there's been a guy that owns a bathroom shop that I just think is so, but it's him, he's miserable, but he's just, people have tried to tell me how you pick a kitchen. I know, it's okay. Like, you know, sometimes can be a wee bit like mansplaining, but it's okay. Like, everybody's fine, and I need men and tradesmen to come in and work with me and do the plumbing and tiling. Like I said to you, nobody wants a house that I've tiled, so I rely on those people as a main component of my business. So just find nice people.
How do you find, what is your team? What's your like the contractors, subcontractors?
It starts from like the day one. It starts from estate agents. It starts from, you know, like a power team, we kind of call it in the industry. So it starts from who's sorting your finances out, who's sorting your mortgage out, your solicitor. Like, there's a lot of people in the team before you even get the keys and get started. And then it's the trades that everybody think of. So the usual electrician, plumber, plasters, painter, decorator, you know, tiler, all those guys, joiners and stuff in. And then after that, at the end, there's the back end of it, and using people to sell your house and using people to stage your house. If you do that, I don't do that at the minute, but I will in future. So yeah, it's a great wee network.
Yeah, it's mental. That's another thing. Networking, I'm sure, is absolutely like unbelievable.
That's been the best part for me, because as lovely as the money is, there's so many new people I know. Like, there's so many opportunities. Like, I get to talk to you today. I write a column for a magazine. I've been on the radio talking about this. I've been on TV talking about this. Mum and I did like a little show about Northern Ireland homes. So, and you just, every day is something different.
What do you not do, Carly?
Go to the gym. What does she be doing? No. That, you know, there's so many opportunities come out of it, and then out of those opportunities, and then going into schools and stuff. So you meet on colleges, you meet all these brilliant people, and I love people and thrive off like chat and banter. So
having the crack and stuff.
So it's expanded my personal network tenfold.
If someone, I guess, was, let me see if I can get this right, say like a common mistake first-time buyers or investors make, is it something you see all the time?
Yeah, first-time flip guys, there's two mistakes they make. One is they just are scanning Property Pal for like a house that's in Belfast is 79,000. Like, just go to the cheap house, just go to the cheap house. It's a false economy, because there's so much wrong with that house if it's that price. And secondly, it's probably not in the best area. And then the other mistake people make is they stack their numbers based on what a house is for sale for on Property Pal. So they will come to me and say, I've done my numbers and I've got quotes for how much this is all going to cost, and I'm only going to come out with £15,000 at the end. And I mean, everybody's different what they want. Some people might think, God, a spare 15,000, brilliant. So they've thought all that work doesn't equate to £15,000 profit, but they haven't done the numbers on what it's actually sold for. And it's very difficult here in Northern Ireland. We don't have Zoopla, which is in England, where you can look at what previous houses in that street have recently sold for. We don't have any information like that available. So they're basing it on what it's up for sale for, and usually what it's up for sale for is certainly not what it actually sold for. I mean, all my houses have sold between 30 and 35,000 over the asking price. So say it's 30,000, we'll just say 30,000. So they're missing out 30,000 of profit there. Add that to the 15 and you're like, is 45,000 enough for you? And they're like, oh yeah, but they haven't done the research on what they're selling for. And if you're not out viewing and bidding on properties, you don't know what they're selling for.
Actually, one thing, if I was like a student and I came to you, not knowing very much, what would be like a step-by-step process if I was getting a property, like generally?
Have you got all day? Because this is my course.
No, like just for anyone watching, they're like, oh, maybe I want to get involved with your coaching and things. What would be like
I think...
Is there like a general summary?
No, there's no general summary, but I think you can do a lot of research online. You'll get a lot of property investing tools, like Simon that I study with has a free YouTube channel, so you can go on and get lots of information about property investing and stuff there. Flipping wise, there's not that much on the market to do it, so I think I might have to write a book or something like that. Yeah.
Are you writing one?
I need to be, you know. But there are things out there that you can buy, you know, and go through some information, just making sure it's from somebody that you know and trust. But I would say if you want some information, go to somebody who's already done it before. And that might be all those initial people who reached out to me and met for a coffee. Maybe there's other people now on Instagram that have come on my course and they're now flipping really successfully here in Northern Ireland. Ask, can you meet up? Go to networking meetings where here in Northern Ireland, there's definitely 4 or 5 of them every month. So you could go property and poppadoms, you know, like there's women in property, NI, all those kind of things you can go to and meet other people and they will help you, you know.
You know what I'm thinking?
What?
Where do you get the time? You're doing your column, you're doing your flipping, you're doing your coaching. Like,
do you know what?
How do you manage that?
Everybody says to me, oh God, you just never stop. But I don't feel like I never stop. So I have a rule. I don't like getting up in the dark. You know, all these people are like, get up before in the morning. That's not me. No. No, it makes me miserable. Getting up in the dark, yeah. So I get up. So in the winter, like, no, I don't get up until like really, you know, 8:30, 9, I'm looking at. So I get my good night's sleep. I'm not up early. I'm scheduling like first meeting maybe 10:30 or something like that. But I feel like I do have plenty of time. You know, for me, like I see my friends and family loads, go on holidays lots, you know. It's just organising your time effectively and doing things you enjoy.
What like say you get up at 9 or 8:30, whatever it is. What's your sort of like a typical day in the life of Carlys?
There is no typical day. It depends on what the project is or what I'm doing. I could be at a podcast, I could be writing a column, I could be out viewing houses, which I am all during the week, and I will view houses that are good, bad and ugly because I need to know what price they're going for at every step of the way. And it boots on the ground, you know, seeing what's happening. If there's a renovation on, I'm probably there for an hour, maybe making sure like deliveries have been made, making sure like the tradesmen have what they need. I like being active. I go for a swim at night. I usually go for a swim at 9 o'clock at night for an hour and do my 40 lengths. Go to Pilates in between, see somebody for a coffee, you know, at some point in the day, like either one of my friends or somebody, you know, that I've met through property and have a chat. So
do you ever feel like burnout?
No, I don't. Because I don't feel like I am burning myself out in any way. If you put the collective work hours in that day together, it might be 3. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, it's not too much, and I reward myself regularly. My thing is holidays, right? Not interested in a fancy bag or pair of shoes or whatever, a car, I don't give a hoot, right? But holidays is my thing. So constantly like little trips, going away places, took mum and dad away to Mallorca for a month as a treat, you know, so that was fun, did that, and you know, just getting a little break now and again, off to Portugal in January for a couple of days, but just all those little things that gives you a little bit of headspace and a break before.
How often are you away? Are you a couple times a year?
yeah, probably at least. I think I was away from February until November every month.
Oh, really?
But I do like it. I do like getting away, and it gives
Yeah.
me a break. And it also, the break helps me figure out the next things that I want to do
Reset
or
and just-
achieve.
yeah.
And you're just sitting there and you think, God, wouldn't it be great if I could do this? And that's one of my favorite games. Imagine if, like, imagine, because people here get really like doom and gloom, like tell you all the negative things, like, oh my God, what if this happens? But my story is imagine if, because it's a much more imagine if, and it could be stupid, like imagine if I won the lottery and then I bought that. Imagine if I asked this person a question and they said, yeah, you can write a column for me, or imagine if, and it just goes like that. So you come up with a lot of ideas in your head that you think,
Yeah.
have a go. And I think what's really important is when you do that, to write down, chase it, to follow it up, ask the question. We're really bad here about asking questions, and just and the things that come out of it, it's just unbelievable.
I know. I feel like that's probably from like the fear of judgment. You know, it probably stems back from like school and things. Like,
Yeah.
putting your hand up, saying something completely
Everybody
wrong,
laughing.
everyone laughing, and then puts you off. Like in later life, it maybe has that wee.
Yeah.
I don't want that feeling again.
Yeah,
or, do you know what I mean?
100% it is.
What was-
100%.
See, whenever you took your mum and dad away for holiday and stuff, you're like I'm doing this, and
Yeah.
what I've done has like made this, turned this into reality. How did that feel?
Great, like
Yeah.
absolute goal. I was like, I want to take us away to our favorite place, favorite hotel, favorite room, even, which is like even more expensive. I want to do this, go for a month and just chill out and
Yeah,
enjoy
treat
ourselves.
them
And then all my friends kind of came over as well, like for a weekend here, a week there. So it's just a great time. And then I'll do that more and more as I go. I got to take them to Dubai with me. So speaking at Dubai Property Investors Network, so then they came with me for that. So it was fun.
Yeah, it
So
must be like
an
a real-
hour's talk meant I had to go for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I love that though. That's part of the game.
You've gone that far, you may as well. So
Did you envision that? Was that something, one of your goals or anything?
it was, so like obviously initially the goal was the house, which, you know, we can talk about, but the other things then come in when you're like, God, wouldn't it be great if I could take us away for a month, just all expenses paid? And then wouldn't it be great? And there's always different things that I'm like, right, there's a wee goal, let's get at it and let's figure out, you know, I'm like, get it done and we'll figure out the money
later.
will come, or whatever it is will come. The people that need to help me facilitate that will come.
Yeah. Do you ever do you read a lot, or do you like?
Yeah, I do. I read a hell of a lot.
What type of books do you read, or what would you recommend?
I read anything. I'd read the back of a Frosty's box. Like, I read absolutely anything. So the first book that I read, because I'm like into manifestation, was Just Fucking Do It by Nora Hibbert. Excuse my language, that is the actual name of the book. And I was like, God, I have been doing this all along, but not knowing what it specifically is and the actual steps and how to do it. Yeah, so that was one of my first ones from that. And then I read loads of like self-help books, which, I mean, it depends on the person, but I read loads of self-help books, read loads of personal development books. I read loads of like fiction books as well. So everything, I'll just read anything. But I
feel like
love reading.
At the event, like everyone seems to have, and everyone we've talked to, in a weird way, like believes in it, or in some way, or uses it.
Yeah.
It's like, it is like a sort of ingredient you need, isn't it?
It doesn't work if you don't believe in it. That's the thing. There has to be, somebody said to me, like when people hope for something, so there's still an element of
Doubt, nearly.
yeah, there's a wee bit like a hope it happens, whatever. And then if you believe in something, then you know, believe. But then the next level is a knowing, and you have a knowing that. And when you think of it, you know, like I know my name is Carly, right? And, you know, so if you know without a shadow of a doubt that it works, that's how it works.
Yeah.
And the people that don't believe that, it just won't work for.
Who said that? I think Aaron, your friend Aaron, said it.
Did
I think
I?
at the party or
Okay.
something like that. Because just when you said that, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I must maybe
Yeah.
But no, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's the type of thing we're sort of into, I guess.
Yeah,
like
100%. And, you know, I've used that for loads of different things and stuff that my friends call me a witch, but it's just, you know, I've used that to heal like medical conditions I've had. I knew I could get rid of it, you know, myself. I've used it. I won money, won prize guy, I told you that. I like it. So there's loads of different ways that I would use it. And I, you know, do meditation every day.
Do you?
Visualizations. Yeah, 100%. I love it. I love it. I just naturally fall into that. I do have a vision board, you know, all of those wee steps that I 100% do. And I think like the most natural start off point is just be happy. Don't be annoyed at stupid things. You know, watch your words. Your words are your want. You know, your thoughts become things. So the thoughts you're thinking better be really good things.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah. And why would you want to think a negative thought?
Yeah.
Now, there's a mace around the corner from me, and I went in, and the girl in the mace said, "Can I ask you a question? Why are you so happy every day?"
Do you know her? No?
No, I don't know her, but I go in every single day, and I was like, "Oh, it's easier to be happy than it is to be miserable." And she was like, And I thought, no, trust me, it really is. And she says, "I was going to ask you, were you on drugs?" And I was like, no.
yeah, no, I get you. Like, you probably get that all the time.
But it's so much easier. It's such a nicer life if you're just happy and relaxed.
That higher vibration, nearly.
Yeah, and it can be such a simple thing. It can be somebody coming out in traffic. Like, I see my friends like, "Yeah, what do you know?" And I'm just like, "Come on ahead, mate. Like, if you wanted to go out, go." And it's all those wee things. It doesn't take you, you know, from anger or back down. You're just...
It's those wee little things, right? Like,
happy, you know.
I'm looking at you and I'm talking to you, and like obviously the businesses and everything's going really good. Like the place looks class.
Thanks.
Would you consider yourself as like successful? Have you achieved it? What's in your head, the vision for success?
I would say yes. I feel like I'm successful and successful in loads of areas. I think I'm most successful in areas that people would consider that. With my friends, I'm really good at keeping friends. I'm really good at making new friends, and it's really important to me, my like friendships and stuff. So that can be one area of success. There's things I can improve in, like am I successful in going to the gym? Absolutely not, but I do other like things to keep fit and stuff. But there's things that I'll be hard on myself about not doing that. And then business wise, yeah, I think I've been like quite successful in 5 years, but also I put a lot of hard work into it, and you know, in addition to putting hard work in, I've took some action. I've done what I said I was going to do. I've asked questions. I've failed. You know, there's been things that have gone wrong, but you just have to know. Just don't blow a gasket over. Like, just get up and get on and be resilient and move on with it.
You said there about like failure and stuff. I feel like definitely even back from like school and stuff, you're so scared of failure.
Yeah.
And like it's like in in you to be like, don't fail.
Yeah.
But it's like it's another key ingredient.
It is, and you learn so many lessons from it. Some initial like recordings and TV stuff I had to do, I fell over my words and stuff, but it just you wake up in the night in a cold sweat thinking about it, but you just think like, is what it is. You learn, you move on, you're more prepared the next time. And
you learn from it.
You learn from it, you know, and then there's things that are complete variables you have no control over. You know, for example, one of my houses fell through in sale because the couple split up, like nothing to do with the house, but then you're already budgeting for a spare like 50,000 to come into your account in the next week, and really I've spent that, you know, on the next house or whatever, and then that falls through and you're put back 6 months. So it's just getting on with it.
Yeah. Does it change as you get older?
No, never.
No, this is success.
Well, you just I think your outlook changes as you get older. I thought you meant there, does it change like feeling? No, you're always feeling. You should always be, and you should always be feeling, you know, because if you're not feeling, you're not trying anything.
Yeah.
You know?
In a way, would you say you still feel now?
I'm happy like to feel, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel good at the time, but you take what you need to from it. You know, people might think like I'm divorced, so I failed at marriage and stuff, but I think no, that was really good marriage. I've learned loads from it. I'm grown as a person, and if I, you know, have a relationship again, then I've learned my lesson from it, you know. And people can get, I think here especially, a lot of guilt and shame around those feeling, and it could be business, relationship, whatever.
Scared of what people are saying.
Yeah, it's such pressure on them too, and it can cause like massive like disease in the body, never mind the mind and stuff. But are we guilting and shaming ourselves? Because really, like, I'm too busy with me to be concerned about what somebody else is doing. And if you are online concerned about what somebody else is doing and writing comments, then you're not busy enough. You need to be doing something else.
Yeah, would you get that much online if you're posting something about property?
Do you know what? Not very much at all. There's been one or two wee things. I think the boys from Here's the Crack podcast post up, and some girl wrote, he isn't it great to have daddy's money? And I think, like, I so didn't. If you listened to the video, you wouldn't, you know that. So just like kind of little comments than that, but that's just reflects more on her and her not being educated on the topic, or just being miserable, you know. And then I have this guy who constantly, like, I had to block him in the end, but he just like constantly likes to like leave,
Negative comments.
Yeah, negative comments. And you know, I've also had a couple where I've shared the stage with someone. So somebody's asked me to go and speak at an event, and I've shared the stage with them, and I've got messages saying, "Oh, I can't believe you're sharing the stage with that man. Do you know what he did?" No, and I think, I don't know who this man. Like, I literally don't know. I've just been asked to go and speak at this event. I haven't even looked at like the lineup or whatever. Oh, he did this to me. And I think, well, why are you messaging him? Why are you messaging a girl who is, or maybe the event organizer? You know, sometimes it seems to come to like an easy target who's nothing to do with things. So those have been, but I mean, Michael, they could all be on one hand.
Yeah. No, just sort of brush it off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just think, oh, you are, and I always think you are like poor mindset, and just there mustn't be much going on. It makes me feel like, oh God, are they okay? More than anything,
yeah. No, I get you. One really random one actually. As a business owner, would you like drink alcohol or?
No.
Really?
No, I do take a drink if I'm on holiday. So if I'm away gallivanting, I'll have in the evening a wee cocktail or, you know, glass of cava or something like that. But I am so not interested in alcohol. You probably get that from everybody, do you?
No, it's different because sometimes the reason why I ask is because as I've sort of grew older and wanted to be more like businessy and stuff, and the more like sort of drink and alcohol gets in the way, the next day I just can't function. The last thing I want to do is work or like think about it. As if I didn't, I could get up fresh, like this morning even, up fresh, pure thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Has that knock-on effect for that? Like,
it doesn't do anything for me. I don't find any pleasure in it. I'd rather have a Ribena.
Yeah. Even like social events, would you not know?
Not always. Sometimes I'm driving there and driving back. But, you know, if it's somebody's birthday, I'll definitely have a glass of Prosecco going round or, you know, something. Yeah. But it's not, for me, if you said to me, right, you can't drink all this year, or even you can't drink for the rest of your life, okay. Doesn't, like, it wouldn't change my life in any way, shape or form.
No, I get you. I always think that's like super
interesting. It's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of money for me as a girl. It's a lot of calories that I don't need, you know. It's sore head. For me, and I don't get pleasure from it. So there's no reason that I would
do it anyway.
Drink it, yeah. There's just no reason.
Another random one for you. Did you ever feel like you didn't like fit in? Do you ever feel like I feel different from people here? Or?
I'm going to say no up until one point, and that's when I started doing what I'm doing, and I was still in working. And when I started expanding my horizons and realizing what was out there, I was saying to people, oh, you could do this and you could do that. And they're like, no, you can't. And I thought, oh, that was different for me, that people couldn't see it. And I realized that I was like that.
Yeah.
You know, like before. And I think that those types of scenarios, I went to this work event once where you had to write down how the percentage of hours you spend a week on work, going to the gym, spiritual, whatever, and the percentage you would like to spend. Now, I know from property that if I want to spend 0% on work, I can, because I have built up a portfolio and a way to allow me to do that. But those people in the job said, could you imagine if you wrote 0%? And I was like, write it. And they were like, no, you could never write. And I was like, no, you could. You could spend 0% of your time on work if you really wanted to. And they're like, God, no. And they couldn't even write it on the paper. It was imaginary, but they couldn't even write it on the paper.
The belief wasn't there?
Yeah, I just thought, it's imaginary. It doesn't matter. It's a piece of paper. If that's what you really want, write it down.
Would you do that often? Like write things down?
Yeah.
Would you?
Oh, I'm mad for writing things down. Yeah. So I'm writing down like goals that I want to achieve. I'm writing down like quarterly what I'd like to do. I've already written down like the plans for next year, and that includes what I'm cutting out as well as what I'm going to take on and what I'm going to try to chase after, really, more than anything. So yeah, I am constantly writing those down, writing ideas down, I have a little magic book where I'm writing down things that I want, and if you look back on it, you'd be like, my goodness, that is so strange that all of it, like I wanted to be winner of Mastermind, Simon Says She's Mastermind, I became winner of it, like it's one thing just wrote on a page, like I'll be the winner. So
and you're ticking them off.
Yeah, you're ticking them off as you go, and it's so important. That is one of the steps. You have to write it down. Like you have to write it down. Treat yourself to a little book for the new year and write down anything you want.
You feel like you nearly have to do that to make it happen.
Yeah, you have to. It has to be
make yourself believe it.
Yeah.
Down to the last two, and this is two we ask on every podcast. I'm super interested as to what you say here. So if when did you start doing the property?
5 years ago.
So say 6 years ago.
Okay.
If the 6 years ago Carly was watching this right now, what do you think she would say?
6 years ago, Carly would probably wonder, is that possible for me? You know, not be 100% sure that it was. And would probably wonder, how do you do it? How do you start from not having any savings in the bank to get into something like that? You know, yeah, I think that's probably what you would be wondering.
I find that fascinating because it's the shift. You know, it's such a, only 5 years, it's such a big shift. You're a different person probably.
Yeah, totally different person.
And one more for you,
okay.
Just one more here. If someone was, a young person was looking for advice in either property, content creation or something's really resonated with you, what would you say? What would you tell them?
If they were looking for advice, I'd say go to the specific person who you actually watch and reach out to them, send them a message. Is it an author? Is it something? Reach out, because they usually do respond to you. Make yourself get in a room where they are. Find out from that person that you really admire and that is doing exactly what you want to do.
Carly, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully we haven't took too much of your time.
Totally enjoyed it.
Anyway.
No, not at all. Not at all.
What's the plan for the rest of the day?
I'm going to meet my friend over in Lisburn Road for a walk with her dog and a coffee, and then I need to finish off writing my website. And that's it, Sunday dinner.
On a Sunday as well, just constantly
But
going.
it's not, the thing is, because it's a Sunday, this is just a wee chat. This isn't work to me. I know sure work, but it doesn't feel like work to me. It's just a chat, and then I get to go and spend some time with Jane and walk the dog and have a coffee and a natter, and then I get to see mum and dad, we have some dinner, and then there's no problem me sitting on the laptop, because I'm just doing it for me, and I want to do it and I want to get it done. But also, on Wednesday, I've just booked myself in for massage and treatments all day, so Wednesday I won't be working, so it's
and the freedom you can do
it's
that.
just doing it whatever you want to do, you know. And tomorrow I've already said, don't phone me before 11 o'clock, I'm having a lie-in, you know. So it's so suiting it to yourself. So people will be like, oh God, I don't want to, be writing a website on a Sunday.
That's enjoyment.
But I have a load of free time this week. I'm going ice skating, I'm doing, all these fun things. So I think it's just whatever suits you best.
Do you have any events coming up? Anything you're speaking at? Anything you're doing that people can sort of go to, I guess, or find out more about you? I
have my own course on the 12th of January, which is to teach people how to do it. It's happening in the Merchant.
I think that's about similar time this should be going live, I think.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so somewhere around then
anyway. And then I will do another one, because I can't get out of doing one, but there's already a wait list, because as it comes to that final couple of weeks, it's booked out, so people are then leaving their names for the next one, so I will do another one. And then probably in the summer, I'd like to do the under 25s again, the flipping way, and do all that. And I got the guys that all spoke at it just loved it, so they were like, we'll happily come and do it all again. I was like, yes, so you'll have hopefully Dara there and the rest of them. And I put out a challenge to the under 25s that were in the audience that next year I would like you speaking here, so you go away for a year and do your thing, and then
that's a great idea.
Come back to me. So a couple of them are working, more than a couple hopefully,
burning the phone, I'm
are
sure,
working on that, and come back. So at the minute that's
I'm sure that's inspiring too, young people nearly looking up to you, being like, whoa,
I just want them to know you don't have to choose a job at 18, 19 to go to uni and do it and then sit in that job until you're 68, 69. You don't, and you shouldn't have to, because, people change. People get interested in certain things. People, want to maybe make more money or want more flexible things to happen in their life. So it's important that you don't have to stick to something. You could change. I changed from civil service to property developer. Will I be a property developer forever? No, there's loads of other things I'd like to do, but there will be a thread of property running through everything. And also there will be my rentals that are bringing me an income in while I'm doing whatever else I want to do.
No, I love it. Thank you so much, Harley.
Thank you.
Carly, I actually can't wait to see more about what you do.
Good, I'm excited.
Big year 2025.
Yes, hopefully, and lots of new stuff.
Honestly, thank you so much. Thank you to Ross behind the camera.
Thanks, Ross.
That has been all from the official Young Hunter podcast. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.